நன்றி. இந்தியா வெல்லும். நன்றி.
Anil Desai.
Thank you.
Anil Desai. Mic off.
Thank you, Chair Madam. While speaking on the Union budget, earlier I'd mentioned
Financial.
I dealt with every aspect as far as possible as the provisions were made,
6 o'clock तक ही
and the budget was presented by Honorable Finance Minister. I've spoken on the departmental provisions also, and appropriation bill was adopted by the House. Today on finance bill, I will specifically go about the peculiar aspects which are there in the employment sector and which is affecting public sector in particular and people at large, employees at large in general. Chair Madam, Union government has asked the public sector insurance companies, especially National Insurance, United India, and Oriental Insurance. It's not only they have asked, but a caution and a notice has been given to move away from their core business, that is top lines, they have spelled it that way. And this has been done by the Department of Financial Services, DFS. And it's surprising that their core business, that is motor insurance and health, these two sectors are the main revenue earning arms of the insurance companies. And since inception, even in the monopoly sector, which prevailed till 90s, and in 99, when the entire insurance sector was opened up for the private players, these public sector insurance companies were doing extremely good all along. They have been paying handsome dividend to the central exchequer, and as far as their functioning was concerned, it had no complaints all over. It was entrusted with the employment also by the government, and they did take the responsibility of putting up with a lot of thousands of employee force which worked under this public sector. But today, what is the situation? When they are being asked to go away or to look at some other avenues to mop up insurance revenue by stopping their motor business and health sector, the reason being that whatever revenue is earned, the claim payment is much more than the revenue. And therefore, they have been incurring losses. And then came the issue of infusion of capital, which the government of India, they did it in financial year 1920, 2021, in 2 tranches, and some 17,500 crores were infused. Recapitalization was done in these 3 companies. The turnaround, after this, the turnaround is very evident. If we go by the figures, that United India Insurance has made a remarkable turnaround, reducing its losses from 5,000 crores in financial year 23 to a profit of 19 crores in financial year 23-24. National Insurance has also significantly narrowed its losses from 3,800 crore in 23 to 187 crores. And similarly, Oriental Insurance also did its bit, where they are cutting down the losses and they are moving towards profit-making economy for their organizations. And as far as New India Assurance is concerned, there are 4 insurance companies out of that New India Assurance Company, which has been doing extremely well. They have done 1,000 crore profit in the last year. This time it is 1,100 crore. But these things which are being pushed on them, what kind of level playing field is being given by the government and ensured by the government to see that private players who have entered the industry some 20 years back, now they have taken over, they are in the race to take over these public sector companies. The level playing field I'm referring to, because social sector schemes which are driven by the public sector companies, these private players never venture into all these schemes because they are no profit-making schemes. Rural insurances also taken up by the public sector, which they are doing it diligently, but absolutely at no reward or no award or no appreciation rather. But when you come to restrict this insurance company, public sector insurance companies, government seems to be very harsh. And this should not be done, as public sector banks have seen that over the years when the NPAs grew, over the years for a decade or so, they will give me 2 to 3 minutes. This is very important because, please, madam.
Madam,
please.
only 5 minutes.
These are the issues. If I don't mention, these are the issues.
He is the only man going to speak.
These are
only
the
member, not from our side.
बोलिए
He is the only member going to speak from our side.
From my party.
Hardly 6 minutes. Go ahead.
If I don't speak, I mean, if you don't want what the real ground reality is, I'll sit down, madam. I have no issues. Please. So, against this backdrop, how are we going to match? Tomorrow, the public sector companies who are doing well, Piyush is here, I mean, who is seen over the years. If we don't give them the kind of impetus or the kind of incentive which is needed at this stage, the things will not be in the interest of the Indian economy, and it will be suffering like, I mean, any other thing. Today, what is the scenario? For last more than 5 to 7 years, general insurance industry, all 4 companies haven't seen their wage revision. LIC is doing well, LIC got its way. But what about other companies? Why employees are being restricted? Why employees are being deprived from their constitutional right, I would say? They have been putting in every effort to see that company does good. So my request would be that look at the private players, look at the scenario in the public sector, and there has to be, DFS has accepted the fact that there are no recruitments in the public sector, which owns the responsibility to shoulder that, to see that the unemployment aspect is addressed in a big way, which is not happening. So employment needs to be opened up in public sector companies. Wage revision needs to take place. And with this, Mediclaim, which is needed by the people at large, Nitin Gadkari ji has written to Finance Minister time and again, Arvind Savantji, myself, we have been crying at top of our voices. We have been making for the people that 18% which has been laid on GST on the health policies and LIC policies. This is beyond affordability. So this needs to be addressed. Madam, the last point, sir, last point I'll make.
1 minute.
Sir, last point I'll make.
Madam, you were supporting,
Only,
in the morning
please,
you were supporting this issue. This is more important.
Please
let him conclude. Let him conclude.
Please,
Madam,
one
let him
point.
conclude.
Please.
He'll conclude.
Chaudhary ji, please, one only last point I'll make. Honorable Finance Minister has come out with the schemes which are really needed, employment schemes with ELI, employment-linked incentives. These are the schemes given in 3 schemes have been spelled out. But what the reality is, really manufacturers and really private entrepreneurs from MSME to higher up, high ends, are they really willing to infuse their own capital? Private capital is coming really, or I mean, otherwise these schemes which are really look good on the paper will not come into practicality anymore. And if that is to be stopped, unemployment really is to be answered, or it is to be addressed. These are the things which are right in front of you. Otherwise, schemes after schemes will be spelled out. But absolutely, unemployment will be a biggest problem for the country.
Thank you, Sabhapati Mohoday.